So my name is Rianne or Ryan in English. I have my own practice in the Netherlands in Delft, where I have a spiritual practice for almost 20 years now. And I find it very important to help to introduce people to meditation and also to allow them to have guided meditations with me. You'll find quite a lot of meditations on my YouTube channel. Those are guided manifestation meditations for if you want to manifest a goal with me, or if there is something that you um, would like to change in your life or transform. But for today, this is going to be a live stream with a harmony meditation because I truly believe we need more harmony in the world with all the division and problems we have. So today I am doing the introduction, some general information about why I meditate, why that is important, the benefits and the traps that we can fall into. And if you have any questions about meditation, feel free to actually uh, put them in the chat. And I'm going to explain a bit about why I chose harmony. If there's any questions, I will answer them after that. And then we're going to start the guided meditation about first getting some more harmony within, and then also, of course, sending that harmony out there for the whole world. So if you're looking only to enter the live stream for the meditation, I suggest you come back in around half an hour, 40 minutes, and then you will have the guided meditation available to you. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about meditation because I am speaking so often with people who say, I would love to meditate more, but it's just so difficult, or I never get to it, or I'm trying for so long and I never got into any meditative trance. So it's very important to talk about the benefits of meditation. So even if you don't feel meditative trance, you can still have benefits. You still have a moment of reflection, you still have a moment of joy, you still have a moment of peace. And practice makes perfect. It's called a meditation practice because you actually need to practice it. A lot of people feel that if they tried once or twice and it doesn't work, then it isn't for them. But that's really not the case. So, we were talking about actually practicing your meditation. And a lot of times people practice the most traditional way of meditation, which is they try to be in a lotus position, which is really tough for a lot of people. And then they try to clear their mind, which is also extremely tough for people. So I highly recommend that if you want to try meditation, you don't start with what is usually the hardest type of meditation for Western people because they're not very flexible, because we are so in our heads, we're thinking so much. It's really, really hard to clear our minds. And then people tell me, like, Ryan, I tried for so many hours and I just can't meditate. So there are many different type of meditation that might suit you better. Walking meditation is one of the things I do a lot with my practice as well, usually once a year in a beautiful forested area, because it really helps to actually understand that when we're moving, we can get into a trance-like state because the movement actually brings us a sense of zen, of well-being, and it becomes so much easier to focus on something and actually do that. I also am a big, big fan of laughter meditation. I do always warn people that you really first need to practice all your muscles because otherwise you can really get yourself into really strange muscle aches. And on top of that, it is very wonderful to do, but not for a long time because you're really going to feel it. I'm also a fan of active meditation, allowing yourself to move, to dance, to actually get in touch with your body while meditating. There's also guided meditations, which I have on my channel, which helps because you have a focus. mantra meditations for when you have a certain mantra, that certain energy that you just want to have, which I also love, even though it's not my background. So I haven't tried any of the traditional mantras because I'm sure I would mangle how I'm supposed to pronounce it. And it's very important that you do that. Of course, you can use your own mantra or your own sentence if that is something that works for you. So it is a wide set of things that you can do compared to just um, actually um, sitting and clearing your thoughts. Of course, this kind of traditionalist meditation can also work for you if you want to try it. And I also recommend that one of the pitfalls is that people really want to meditate for a long time, but it's very difficult to keep our attention. And it's very tiresome if you're practicing something that requires an intense focus. So I always recommend that if you want to do traditional meditation, you don't start with half an hour, you don't start with 15 minutes, you don't start with 10 minutes, you start with 5. Because it allows you to already have a little taste of what can happen without getting into pain, without getting into a feeling of restlessness, and allows you to actually do that in a way that is healthy for you. And once you actually get into a trance-like state, you will forget the time and you will look at the time and like, whoa, I can't believe that I just meditated for 10 minutes, for half an hour, for an hour, and I barely felt that. But in the beginning, one of the pitfalls is that people want to practice for a half an hour and it's just too long. And they open their eyes again and they see the clock and it was only 90 seconds. And that's really tough. So if you start with a meditation form that fits you better, if you start with a walking or an active meditation, or if you start with a mantra, you focus on something instead of clearing your mind. You might have a much easier time feeling this kind of meditative trance and then building up from there to more difficult ways of meditation if that's what you want. I also know people who are just very happy meditating in a walking or laughter meditation, and that is what they would like to do. But I do think it's really nice to start trying other types of meditation as well. So, um, it is really important if you want to try anything to make it fun and make it work for you instead of just trying a traditionalist way that doesn't fit you at all. So, I find it very important to meditate because once we do reach meditative trance, there's just so much clarity. There's so much joy, there's so much harmony. It becomes so much easier to stay connected to other people. It becomes so much easier to stay connected to ourselves. When you regularly meditate, you have a sense of Zen, a sense of stillness, a sense of peacefulness. That is really nice to other people as well. But that also brings big benefits to your life. So that is why I'm always advocating for meditation, even though my spiritual practice is more centered around healing work, around my psychic gifts of readings, which you will also find on my channel as well. I do monthly energy readings to help people make the best of their month. I have the Creating Joy series about all kinds of spiritual techniques. And then, of course, I have the True Unity videos, which use my own healing technique to help people actually heal blockages and move forward in their lives. So there's quite a wealth of hundreds of videos that you can actually look at if you would like to um, widen your spiritual practice. But I keep on harping on how important meditation is. And I love the joke that if you don't have time to meditate for an hour, meditate for 2 hours, because that's true. That once you actually meditated, even if it's only 5 minutes, you get rid of that stressful, of that restlessness feeling, and you start getting the clarity of what really matters, what is really right for you, and you will be able to have just so much more in your life. So I picked harmony as the theme for this live stream because I'm seeing so much division in the world. Let me just drink some water before I get into the nitty gritty of that. I think a lot of other people, spiritual minded or not, really are noticing how much problems we're having in being divided across political parties, really splitting families, really increasing the pain, sometimes within generations, that things like the Eurovision Song Festival, which is supposed to be a time of harmony, of joy, of cultural exchange, becomes just this huge division about who belongs there and who doesn't, and who treats whom well enough or not. So that is really tough to see that these kind of beautiful, harmonious energies are just being so distorted right now. And the more we hurt, the more we are in pain, the harder it is to actually find a harmony again. The easier it is to see the other person or the other group as the enemy, the harder it is to find common ground. Here in Holland, there's lots of difficulties also within our government and political parties splitting off and splitting off and splitting off, and having trouble actually noticing how are we still not all human beings? How are we still not all trying to make the world a better place, even though we might have different ideas on how to do that, even though we might have different views, even though we might have different ideals? At the base, a lot of people just want to have a better place to live in. And it's so tough to see how there's almost no harmony available to us, and how hard it is to actually create a harmonious whole, whether that's within your family, within yourself, within your workplace, within your country, within any groups that you're participating in. How easy it is to see how people just divide themselves within these lines, within these groups, which is in anger, in pain, in righteousness, in superiority and inferiority, and everything going on there. So, because of that, I find harmony so important, and it's something I really strive for. And as a woman, I often have to explain to other women that is not harmonious if you do not count yourself in the whole. So a lot of times I see people striving for more harmony, and what they're doing is they're self-sacrificing to make sure everybody's having a good time. No, everybody's not having a good time because you are not having a good time, because you are sacrificing. And sooner or later, that resentment, that anger is just going to boil up, and it's just going to create much more trouble than actually creating a harmonious whole in which also your needs, your wants, your ideas, your thoughts are also counted. So, because of that, I find it so important to understand that true harmony means that there's space for everybody, that there is a way of listening to everybody. It doesn't mean that everybody can have what they want, but it means that at least there's a politeness, that there's a respect, that there's a way of um, still loving one another, still caring, still kindness. That is just so important. And um, it is so important that we don't forget that we're all still human beings. And you just see that so often, that other groups are being demonized as being wrong, as being all kinds of uh, nasty words. and slurs. And it's hard. And I have a deep respect for people who choose harmony, even with their greatest enemies. Of course, there are many examples of that, of people actually talking and trying to build bridges with the opposite side and choosing harmony above being right, above being angry, above being hurt. And I highly recommend that if you do have the emotional, spiritual fortitude to do that, to actually do that, to actually understand that when you don't agree, but you make the other person the enemy, it doesn't solve anything. And because of that, I find it so important to actually have this kind of harmony. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with the other person. It doesn't mean that if you see something happening that you feel is wrong, that you feel is unjust, that you say, hey, for the sake of harmony, I'm just going to do nothing. That is, of course, self sacrifice. That is, of course, choosing to deny what you feel or you know is right for you. But to understand that what's right for us is not necessarily right for the other person means that there is space for more than one group of people, that there is space for more than one opinion, that there is space to listen, to respect, etc., etc. So, because of that, I really find harmony so important, and that is why I wanted to talk about that today at length, because I'm just seeing people being so angry with each other. And the funny thing is, we all know that if another person shouts at us, if another person is telling us we're wrong, we are less likely to listen than if somebody is not saying we're wrong and just saying, okay, I'm coming from a completely different position, but please, can you explain why you feel that way, why you think that way, why this is important to you? And we actually choose to listen. We actually can move in quite a beautiful type of harmony. One of the beautiful things in harmony, when I picture harmony as an energy, is like having this kind of orchestra where all instruments have their place, when all have their time in the sun to shine, they all have their solos. And I really truly believe that that is how we should build our world. And I don't think that only people who agree with me should have the stage or the space to speak their mind. I don't believe that only people who agree with me get to make the laws or get to um, be available. And I do admit that I do like to discuss things with people a lot. Um, some people I feel can have very good arguments, even though I don't exactly agree with what they're doing, while other people are just filled with anger and hate. And it's really tough to see that that is underpinning their opinions and their way of life. But still, it is so important to understand that if we want harmony, we cannot suppress that group. We cannot suppress people because it's only just going to collapse in on us. We do get to choose if we want to associate with people or not. We do get to choose if we want to embrace that or not. But I remember listening to this podcast about somebody who said, like, my family member is in a cult. What do I do? And of course, everybody's like, okay, if they're in cult, uh, just leave. This is impossible. They won't get out until they're willing to do so. But actually, deprogramming people were all like saying the same thing I'm saying now, which is start by listening, start by actually um, connecting. Even if you don't agree, even if you don't believe the same thing, start by connecting, start by challenging. Why do you feel that way? Why do you think that way? Why is that right for you? And just gently try to open up different avenues of thinking, different avenues of feeling, and trying to actually get back to common ground. And that is what I think we also should do a lot when we're looking at how the world is now, that we really do need to come back with common ground. So, circling back to meditation and the many ways of meditating, for me, I also sometimes like to meditate with singing bowls. The sound also can help me get into a trance, and you will often hear them at the end of meditations because the sound they make is a wonderful way to actually get back into the here and now if you drifted off in your meditative trance. So you hear them a lot. I did consider putting them and a sound like that in my own meditations, but I also heard from a lot of people that they don't like it. So that's why I don't do it. But in my personal practice, I do love that kind of sound. I also have a drum, and I do also like drumming as a way to focus on reaching a meditative trance, whether I'm the one drumming or I'm listening to drumming sounds. I also have a didgeridoo, which I also really like the sounds of. And I do admit that it's really hard sometimes for me to do that because the breathing and circular breathing is something I have not been able to do yet. I wish I could take more lessons, but here in Holland, it's really quite tough to do that. So I am just enjoying what I can do and listening to other people who are great at doing the didgeridoo sounds. It's really nice to hear the vibration of that and to feel that as well when you're doing any type of meditation. I also like to work with cards sometimes. These are from a card set that actually has beautiful ice crystals. I selected two to be here in the background. This is one that's Love and Thanks from the Power set. And let me show you this one again. This one is Affection and Gratitude, which I do believe is a big part of uh, actually achieving harmony. And I will show you the box. Of course, it's mirrored, but it says The Water Crystal Oracle by Masuro Emoto, and it's photographs of water crystals that they made under a microscope. So I do enjoy doing that as well. I have, of course, my own oracle as well, the 100% positivity oracle that you can see on my website, and you can draw a card from for free. I also hear from a lot of people that they use those cards to start their own words or energies. Some of them have bought the uh, oracle themselves. I have a Dutch and an English variant if you would like to have them as well. And I send them out regularly to other people. It's just 100 positive words with their alignment in chakra colors to help you actually embrace this kind of positive energies. Um, I don't have it here to show you, but I do also sometimes use chakra stones to see when I'm meditating if I should actually have some attention to a specific chakra, which also helps if you are doing healing work and you want to stay connected to the energies within your body. This is really old. I should still get another purse for them, but these are stones with the chakras engraved in them, which I also really like sometimes just to pull a stone and to sit with that during my meditation. So there's just so many things that you can add to your meditation practice. One of the things I also like to add is incense. I didn't do it for this live because I almost never burn something here in my workroom, and especially not because right now there's a lot of stuff in it in temporary storage. So I don't want everything to smell like my favorite incense, which is sandalwood, because it's quite a woody and tough smell. At my practice itself, at the office, I do use incense a lot but only after having the all clear from my clients, because not everybody likes it, and some people really do have breathing problems. So if you want to meditate with a group, really be mindful before you think, I love this incense, let me just do that, and forget that some people might have issues with it. And it's not really easy to get into a meditative trance if you are having a lot of problems breathing. So, all these wonderful ways to enhance your meditation practice, all these wonderful ways to find a meditation practice that works for you, that you feel comfortable in, that gives you the focus you need, um, all allow you to explore what kind of meditation works for you. And that is really the most important thing, because we don't stay in a practice that doesn't work for us. We don't stay in these kind of ways that don't work. So it's really important that you just explore what's available to you and what works for you. I also have seen people who meditate with a flame, but actually watching a flame like a candle. But for me personally, that never really worked. It's very distracting to me how it moves. And I'm always worried that I get into a trance and something happens to the candle and I burn the house down. So it's not something that works for me. I heard from other people that they actually use a video of a flame so they don't have to worry about burning the house down, and they just have it on a loop so that it always has the same couple of minutes, so it's more predictable and easier to focus on. So that is something you can also try if you want to try more meditation practices to see what works for you. If there's any questions, it does have to be in English. I see some people in the chat using uh, a different alphabet, which I won't be able to use. So if there's any questions, please let me know. I will also write it in the chat. I have, of course, also a blog where I answer a lot of questions when people have this kind of questions. Again, this is in a language that I can't that I can't understand. I'm sorry. I don't think it's very easy for me right now. Let's see. I do have Google Translate. I do hear you, but I don't know what language it says. It's Russian. Hi, original. I do hear you, and I am answering on the chat, but apparently you don't see that. But I'm open in questions for English and Dutch, and I have to translate what you write to me in Russian. And I'm not sure if you actually are understanding my English at this time. So that is something I don't know today when I have interaction. Like I said, this is my first live stream on my mobile phone, and before I used to live stream my on my laptop, and actually I do have a better idea of how to do the chat there, and I thought I had selected doing this YouTube live on my laptop again, but for some reason it said it was on mobile and I couldn't switch it into my laptop. And which was also quite hard. I wanted to have it in the landscape orientation, and it also didn't do that. It just said that there was some problem there. So because of that, I do think that the next time I'm hosting a live, I am checking and troubleshooting a lot more than I usually do. But when you've been ill, it's been also quite hard. So because of that, I think I'm not having as much viewers as I normally have. And I didn't get any questions in advance. Sometimes people from my newsletter, which you can also subscribe to, send me questions in advance for me to do on the live chat. And if they can't make it, they'll watch it back later. So because of that, I do not have any questions at this time. But if you do have any questions when you watch this live stream, you can also comment on it, and I will make sure that I will actually go and uh, answer them that way. Had to moderate the chat because there was somebody asking what I thought was questions, but they were just, I think, doing some propaganda, which I don't really like. So because of that, I just had a timeout ready for somebody. So let's get started a little bit on the guided meditation. So the first thing to do is, when you listen to a guided meditation, is to make yourself comfortable. Some people like to have their eyes open. Some people have to like their eyes closed. Some people with glasses like me like to take them off and just put them down, so you can actually be more at peace. In any case, the most important thing when you're meditating is to actually make sure that you're comfortable. So whatever works for you, that's fine. Also, it's very good to have some water ready. Um, when we're meditating, afterwards, it's really good to ground yourself back into the here and now, back into your body, by eating or drinking something. It really helps return your energy back. And some people really like the spacey feeling they can get after meditation and they want to stay in it. But I highly recommend that you choose not to do that and you actually go and make sure that you uh, return to the here and now and to what is necessary for you, instead of staying in this kind of spacey feeling. So make sure that you have something to drink. Make sure that you're comfortable clothing, sitting in a comfortable way, choosing if you want your eyes open or your eyes closed, so that you can actually join the meditation. Some people like headphones when they have guided meditation because it helps really focus on the voice of the person doing the meditation, while other people feel that's kind of claustrophobic and they don't like anything on their ears or in their ears. So, really choose what works for you before we start the meditation. So, since there are no questions, I'm going to start with my harmony meditation. And the one I wrote for this evening is one that starts with first finding the harmony within ourselves. We also can become very divided in what we want versus what we need, in what we want versus what's right for us, in what we want, and um, what actually is doable. And when that kind of conflict, inner conflict, becomes really big, when there's this divided mind, it becomes really hard to feel harmonious within ourselves. Sometimes we even have two parts of us wanting different things. Like, for example, when we're having trouble at work, one wants to solve, part wants to solve it, and the other part just wants to leave. This also happens in relationships or in friendships or in any kind of problem the where we feel divided. So first, there will be a little bit of a meditation part on how to be more harmonious within yourself. And after that, there will be an part of the meditation to be able to have that harmonious energy that we got in within and actually spread it to the world. I do like meditations where there is a spread into the world, because the world really needs more harmony. But also, when we do a meditation for ourselves, it's really wonderful that when we reach that meditative state, when we reach connection with that energy, to share and to actually be present in that energy and to make it present. So, because of that, I chose to do that for today. If you have difficulty achieving it within yourself, don't worry if you're sending the energy out. It will always get cleared and moved through the highest possible channels, whether for you that's God, the universe, higher power, angels, guides, whatever you're comfortable with. Just trust that this kind of harmonious energy is actually moving in the correct way to the correct people. So before we start, I will drink again some more water because I will doing the guided meditation, which means that I will go and actually speak for a while. So make yourself ready, make yourself comfortable, and let's start with the harmony within. So gently breathe in and out. And just imagine how energy from above reaches you to the crown of your head and moves through all your chakras all the way to the soles of your feet. And that energy is being poured into you and poured and poured and poured until you are completely filled with the most beautiful energy of harmony. And this harmonious energy helps realign everything within you. Feel how it realigns all your muscles, your heartbeat, your breathing, all in harmony. All your organs work in harmony with each other. Just breathing in and out and allowing this harmonious energy to work through you. All you have to do is breathe in and out and allow this energy to work. And as you breathe in and out, imagine it realigning all your layers of physical body with each other until you reach the highest state that you can reach. And this harmonious energy also helps by realigning all your emotions. It helps release all past emotions and just breathe in and out. And as you breathe out, notice how you are releasing all past emotions. And this energy helps bring harmony to your emotional life so you feel at peace and fulfilled and satisfied. Just allow the highest level of harmony to reach your heart and transform what needs to be transformed. The highest energy is transforming your emotional life to be aligned with harmony. And as you breathe in and out, just allow this harmonious energy to keep on entering you from the crown of your head all the way to the soles of your feet. And breathing in and out, allow it to align all your beliefs to be in the highest level of harmony. And just breathing in and out. And just feel your mind become peaceful because you're in harmony within yourself. Just breathing in and out. And the harmony in your mental state becomes the highest level of harmony available to you. And then allow the spiritual energy of harmony to really bless you with the highest level of harmony available to you. It's breathing in and out. Just imagine it wash away all division, all conflicts, and just allow you to be filled with this huge blessing of harmony, of feeling aligned within yourself on all levels. Breathing in and out and becoming aligned with harmony on all levels. Physically aligned with harmony. Emotionally aligned with harmony. Mentally aligned with harmony. And spiritually aligned with harmony. And as you feel completely aligned, notice how the energy stops moving into your crown chakra, and you are now just filled with your own energy, which is overflowing with the blessing of harmony. And then choose to give this blessing to whoever you feel needs it in your life. You can choose to give this harmony to your parents, to your partner, to your children. And as you notice this blessing moving towards them, you notice that you're not losing anything, that there's more coming from you, more energy of harmony that's being replenished. Just breathing in and out. Notice how harmony is being replenished. So you can send this blessing out to whoever needs it. And you can choose the receiver and leave it up to them if they choose to receive, or you can choose to actually go and give it out to everybody in the world who needs more harmony. You can send it to any organization you love, to any country, to any group of people, so they can feel the blessing of harmony. Just breathe in and out and understand that the stream of harmony is endless. And once you feel ready, come back to this moment. Open your eyes if you had them closed. Drink a bit of water and come back to this moment. And you should notice that you feel more harmonious within yourself, and you might carry this energy for quite a few more days as you choose to be more aligned within yourself. And I always notice that especially children, but also animals, really mirror energy. So when we feel at peace, our animals and our children become more at peace. When we are happier, they become happier. And consequently, the other way around too. When we are really stressed, this is where our kids most misbehave. When they're not really misbehaving, but they're just feeding on your energy, just feeding on your stress. So you can always come back to this meditation if you feel you need more harmony in your life, or check out the manifestation meditations on my YouTube channel. I have quite a lot that you can pick from with different kind of spiritual energies. and to actually manifest more of those energies into your life so you can enjoy them, but also share them with who you feel need them most. Um, and of course, I've been really happy to see a couple of people in the chat and to see some people come in and out of the live stream. If you're interested in my work, check out, of course, my YouTube channel. Check out my blog, blog.flowofmiracles.com. Check out my website, flowofmiracles.com, or if you're Dutch, flowofmiracles.nl. And you will notice all the things I do. I'm not as often on social media, but you'll also find me on Instagram and Facebook because I had a lot of clients asking me if they could follow me or check out what I'm doing. Um, and of course, if you really want to keep in touch, sign up for the newsletter. The monthly newsletter is in Dutch and it features all kinds of information on my practice, any type of events I'm hosting, and of course, now and again, some great offers. If you love a good deal, definitely check that out. And now that a lot of translation is available, you can very easily translate the Dutch newsletter in English in almost any email program. So even if you don't speak Dutch, it is, of course, quite easy to read the newsletter if you want to. Most of the events that I host in Delft in my practice are in Dutch, but I can also translate into English quite well. Most of the things that I host online, like live streams or any kind of online sessions, are usually in English because that way I can reach all my clients who live abroad as well, who do not speak Dutch, which I do not complain about because Dutch can be a quite difficult language to learn. And of course, my English is not perfect, but usually good enough to actually understand each other. So I try to host both Dutch and English events now and again. The blog is also in English, filled with all kinds of spiritual exercises. And my YouTube videos are subtitled in English and in Dutch, the newest ones. The Healing and Creating Joy series are translated. I also have a Dutch column bi-weekly on the Delft radio. And there I speak about spiritual topics and I get asked questions now and again for people who'd like to understand more about living a more spiritual aware life. So as you can hear, there's quite a lot of things I'm doing, which is often why I'm quite busy. And I like to try new things, so I enjoy doing another live stream. And I'm definitely thinking next time I will do it on my laptop again instead of on my phone. But it was a good way of trying and connecting with everybody in this way because at least it allowed me to translate a little bit quite easily of the comments. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. If you watch this live stream back, uh, I will actually put the chapters in the description when I start to talk about certain things, so you can easily skip to the part you like best. As a very busy woman, I understand that not everybody has the time to watch an hour live stream. I just want to maybe focus on some of the talks about meditation or some of the talks about harmony or some information specifically about how to meditate or maybe even just switch to the meditation. I have that a lot too, that I do understand that we need to have an introduction and I need to have some kind of explanation, but skipping to the meditation, of course, is totally valid. So I hope to see you again. If you like this live stream, don't hesitate also to comment if you're watching this back because you got this link on the newsletter and you thought, oh, shoot, I missed it because you hosted it and it's time I wasn't able to log in. Just leave comments. I try my best to answer them as soon as possible. But I do believe it's quite important not to be stuck on social media all the time. So if you don't get a response within 24 hours, it's because I'm doing other things that I love doing. I'm not stuck to my phone or my socials. So I had a lovely time again, and I will be prepping, of course, for what my next live stream would be about. If there is a special something or a subject that you really like to know more about, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I also read that. So I wish everybody a lovely evening and a lot of harmony in their lives, within themselves, their families, and of course within society and the world.